Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. A little update from Ukraine. The Russians launched another massive drone and missile attack on Ukraine on the 3rd and 4th of November 2025. The Ukrainians claim that they secured a corridor in Pokrovsk by landing some special troops, according to Kirill Budanov, who I think he's dead, but nevertheless they tell us he's not. Well, why would you need to secure one? That means you didn't have one in the past. Remember, the Russians claimed a few days ago that they encircled Pokrovsk. Pokrovsk cannot receive any more supplies, therefore these guys will be slowly dying over there. The Ukrainians deny that, but they also feature an article from, or an assessment coming from the DeepState, stating that the Russians advance in Pokrovsk and its suburbs. Later I will try to see if the Ukrainians allow me to post a video with the famous landing of the helicopter, the Ukrainian helicopters with about 10 special operation troops in Pokrovsk, and I watched the video and it is laughable. It's a Hollywood video, let's put it this way, but I will make it just so you see it as well, what the Ukrainians claim to be facts. I will analyze the video while I'm gonna play it after this video. So the Ukrainians conduct, according to them, a massive drone attack in a few oblasts towards Volgograd region. Where is Volgograd region? It's where Stalingrad used to be. Now it's called Volgograd as the city. I will show you on the map. And the mighty Romanians scramble 4 fighter jets to intercept Russian drones, possibly entering the Romanian airspace, and therefore maybe could amount to a declaration of war. Romania will solve the Ukraine war with its mighty army of bucks. All right, let's start with the first article and topic coming from New Voice of Ukraine on the 4th of November 2025. Russia fires 130 Shahed drones in latest mass attack on Ukraine. Russia launched a massive overnight attack on Ukraine on November 4th, firing 1 Iskander-M ballistic missile, 6 S-300 surface-to-air missiles, and 130 Shahed-type attack drones. Now, these drones were Shaheds, Geraniums, and other types were launched from Russia's Kursk, Oriol regions, as well as from Primorsko-Akhtarsk and Shauda in Crimea. So, Kursk, Oriol, Primorsko-Akhtarsk. Right here, Kursk, Oriol. So from the northeast of Ukraine, Kursk-Oriol regions. Primorsko-Akhtarsk is right here, exactly here, and Cape Shauda is exactly here. This is Cape Shauda in here. So this is where the Russians launched their drones. Let's see what else. Maybe they hit something. About 80 of them were Shaheds. Ukraine air defense had destroyed or suppressed 92 enemy drones of various types. Missile and drone strikes hit 14 locations across the country, and they tell us about Dnipropetrovsk, they tell us about Mykolaiv, all right, and then they tell us about Odessa. So Dnipropetrovsk, Mykolaiv, Odessa. Dnipropetrovsk, Mykolaiv, Odessa. But these are in the south of Ukraine. So probably the drones that came from Cape Shauda, zoop, 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 from Primorsko-Akhtarsk, trop, and probably from here, Oriol and Kursk, something here. Let's see if they say. It doesn't seem to say any more here, but we're going to go to another article from Ukrinform. Air Defense Forces destroy 92 of 130. Let's see what they say. The same locations they launched from. Pakatska, they don't say what they hit. All right, here. Russia attacks Ukraine with ballistic missiles, S-300s, UAVs, air defense destroyed 92. Now, ballistic missile, all right, and S-300s, unless S-300s are ballistic missiles. But they said that they are Iskander-M in the other one, didn't they? Missile, singular, right there. Okay, no problem. I let you slide this time. So they got like this. Russian forces attack Ukraine with an N-1 Iskander M ballistic missile launched from Rostov Oblast. So from Rostov Oblast with love, it seems to be the Iskander Rostov in this area right here. From here was the one Iskander launched. Then we got, according to the Ukrainians, 6 S-300 surface-to-air guided missiles from Kursk Oblast. And then we already saw Kursk right here. From here there were the missiles, the S-300s. And then we go down there, Pakatska, nothing and nothing. They don't tell us. He says the attack is ongoing with several Russian drones still in the airspace. Hits by a missile and 31 UAVs have been recorded in 14 locations. Don't tell us where. Next, according to the DeepState, DeepState is a Ukrainian outlet. It is not a Russian one. So they say Russians advance in Pokrovsk and its suburbs. So this is Pokrovsk right here on the map. And this is how the Russians secured, according to them, this supply line, and it's another one coming from the north. I will show you a different map. So the Russians advance in the suburbs. I will use the DeepState. Let's go to the Russians. They are not very, this is what they're talking about right here. You see the Russians? The Russians claim, pick my nose a little bit, claim that they secured this supply line. They are done. They conquer it right here. So the Ukrainians are actually, they can't do squat in here, including advancing in Pokrovsk. The Ukrainian claims that they secured the supply lines somehow with that helicopter with some other troops, with the video I will feature in next video after this one. But let's go and see if we have the guys from DeepState, and here they are. So DeepState is right here. Again, this is Pokrovsk, and again, this is the suburbs. Well, Pokrovsk is, you can see the streets over there. The Russians go straight to the center, and this is where the supply line is. A train. This is a train, railroad right there. I don't know if that's working. This is the road, obviously, supply line that the Russians claim, and the other one that they already conquered, took over right there. But in the DeepState right here, it says that the Russians are advancing Pong, Tsong, Bagalong. I think this is already dead, but hey, what do I know? Correct? All right, let's see what else. Russian occupation forces have advanced in Kharkiv Oblast as well as near the city of Pokrovsk. Well, Kharkiv Oblast, where exactly? Move near Borivska, Andriivka and Kharkiv Oblast. In Donetsk Oblast, they have advanced near Karpivka and Kozatsky and within Pokrovsk itself. So I talked about Andriivka in Kharkiv and Borivska, whereas Kharkiv is up north. Right here is Kharkiv, Kharkov. So the Russians are definitely advancing in Kharkiv itself towards Vovchansk. Here they didn't claim this time, but this is Kharkiv, Kharkov, the city. And then you have here where the situation is very, very bad for the Ukrainians. This is Kupiansk again. It is entirely in Russians' hands. They don't even mention it. And let's see what the Ukrainians claim. New Voice of Ukraine. Please read the title. Ukrainian forces secure corridor to Pokrovsk. If they secure it, that means it was not secured before. So I think they confirm that the Russians indeed encircled it, or at least prevented the Ukrainian forces, troops to be supplied again. Now here they show us supposedly Kirill Budanov here, but this is all they can show us. Kirill Budanov. Now I don't know if this guy is still alive or not. I suspect he's dead, without an arm as well, which would be the right arm, but they show us this picture very fuzzy and very, how do I put it, if I look, I could use, I don't know, a friend of mine looks like Budanov in this picture. So nevertheless, I don't give a shit. Let's see what they say. A special operation by Ukraine Main Intelligence Directorate, AGUR, is underway in the frontline city of Pokrovsk, Donetsk Oblast, the agency reported. The earlier Timur Lenk Special Forces unit is engaged in heavy fighting in the Pokrovsk sector, which is strategically important for the Ukrainian defenses. Remember, now they make it important because they try to emphasize how fantastic they are and they will do nothing. When the Russians will conquer Pokrovsk, they will not say it's strategically important at all. It was just like, I know, Avdiivka, Bakhmut and everybody else. We didn't care about it. If Kiev falls, it's okay. After a successful landing operation, AGUR special forces who took designated position established the ground corridor and were joined by additional special forces. So they established the ground corridor. So it wasn't the ground corridor over there. Combat operations are ongoing with a goal of preventing Russian forces from expanding their fire control over key logistic routes. Other special forces are also carrying out combat tasks in the sector. The AGUR has not released further details citing operational security. Of course. And what's going on here? Reports of the operation first emerged on October 31st. According to the Ukrainian public broadcaster Suspilny, military intelligence assault troops entered parts of Pokrovsk that Russian commanders had prematurely declared captured. Right? Earlier, Reuters reported that approximately 10 Ukrainian special forces soldiers were airlifted into Pokrovsk aboard a US-made Black Hawk helicopter. Well, the Russians said that there were not 10, there were 11, and they were all eliminated. Who tells the truth? We'll find in a few years. The thing is, where do I think that happened? Because there's no other, it's too obvious. Let me go to Pokrovsk again. It's too obvious where that occurred. Right here. This is the corridor. Now, if they are running away, this is the corridor. If they want supply lines or routes, this is the corridor. So they either, I don't even know how they could, because if the Russians are already here, and I'm going to go to DeepState, okay, so ignore the Russian ones. DeepState right here, Pokrovsk is over here. If the Russians have this under their artillery fire, you can't really do anything. Where's the corridor with 10 people? What are the 10 people going to do here? Are they going to go here? Where are they going to go? Or if you go to the other one, the corridor, this is running away. Where? This, like this, and then curve, and then that's the way you go. I'm assuming, but hey, that's what they claim. The Russians, let's put it nicely, I think encircled the city of Pokrovsk. They froze it 99%. I give them 1% to the other ones because I think if you really want to crawl out of the city, you could. I'm talking about Pokrovsk. That's 1%. But these guys have no chance of breaking through. With what? Special Forces, AGUR. AGUR, these guys are for intelligence services. Like you have the CIA getting in. Okay, go in, my friends, go in. Maybe Gestapo, call the guy. Hey, give me some Gestapo here. So I think Pokrovsk is, how do you call it? Imminently lost, or will be imminently lost. And let's go to the Ukrainians again, who claim that, according to Ukrinform, massive drone attack reported in Russia's Volgograd region. Power substation catches fire. Catches? Was that fast? A fire broke out at the Frolovskaya power substation in Russia's Volgograd region following an overnight drone attack. And they say that the Federal Air Transport Agency reported temporary flight restrictions at airports in Volgograd, Tambov, Penza and Saratov. The Russian Ministry of Defense claimed that 13 drones had allegedly been shot down over the Volgograd region, as well as several others over the Rostov, Belgorod and Voronezh. All right, where are those? Belgorod, Voronezh right here, Belgorod right here, and they said something about Rostov, which is down here in the south. They talked about Tambov airport being closed, and let's go and see where Rostov is. Not Rostov, Volgograd. Volgograd is the city on the Volga. Volga, right here, Volgograd, right here, or Stalingrad. This is Stalingrad. Oh, we have some, what's going on here? Alright, so this is Volgograd, in the Volgograd region, so somewhere here. Now, I know, we don't want anything here. I know that down here the Russians have their refineries and everything else, but they said that a transmission station. So this is where they have in Volgograd all their little industries and refineries in the south of Volgograd. Alright, and that gets me to the last one, where the mighty Romanians protect their citizens. Ukrainska Pravda. Romania scrambles 4 fighter jets because of Russian attack on Odesa Oblast. And I will point out to you some little verbiage here. And I want you to be paying attention when they say, Romania's Ministry of Defense announced on Tuesday, November 1st, that it had scrambled, Romania, 4 aircraft in response to Russian attack north of the Danube. I will show you where that is located. The point is here. According to the radar signals detected by surveillance systems. Now, 2 F-16 fighter jets. They don't tell you US, Romanian, French, no. Stationed at the Fetești Air Base were scrambled at midnight, 17 minutes past midnight, followed by 2 German Eurofighter Typhoon aircraft. So what they say German here about the Typhoon, but didn't say US F-16s. Because these 2 probably were operated by Romanian baboons, and these other 2 were operated by Germans. Otherwise, they would have put US F-16s by 2 German Eurofighters, but they didn't. They didn't mention here the origin of the F-16. That tells me those might have been Romanians, and this is not the, oh no, Emil, it's just a Eurofighter Typhoon coming from Germany. If it's so, then it should be here the US, or I don't know, Belgium, or wherever they brought them from. Okay, so this ministry stated that the mission command had authorization to engage aerial assets if they enter national airspace. That means we're going to shoot them down. Correct. Good for you. And threatened the safety of Romanian citizens, adding that no unauthorized incursions into Romania's airspace had been detected and no aircraft debris had been found on Romanian territory. Romania's Ministry of Defense strongly condemned Russia's attack on Ukraine's civilian infrastructure. I wonder, Romania's Ministry of Defense, did they strongly condemn the Ukrainians' attacks on Russian civilian infrastructure? If not, then sorry, you're bad people. Calling them a serious violation of international law. Well, did the Ukrainians hit and attack any civilian infrastructure in Russia? Yes, they did. So I want to hear you. Beliților, I want to hear. I just gave some Romanians some words of love. Law and threat to regional security. The ministry added that Romania remains in close contact with its NATO and EU allies. No, masters you mean. And continues to maintain a high level of vigilance and readiness. Good. Let's see where that occurred. So we have here Ukraine, we have here this is Odesa Oblast, and here this is the Black Sea, these are the baboons in Romania. Got it? This is the Danube River. So probably in the Izmail or maybe in Reni, that usually this is where the Russians attack, these 2, Izmail or Reni. And the Romanians were together with the Germans. What Wehrmacht couldn't do, they did it after the revolution. Good job. So this is where it occurs, in this area. Now, the Romanians maybe will be told, and they will do it, to shoot Russian drones in the Ukrainian airspace. And then the Russians will report that, and the Romanians will deny it. That's what could happen. And then the Russian says, well, that's a declaration of war, whatever, why did you get engaged, and so on. And these guys will bring us all the spiel with values and Western values and the Judeo-Christian and so on. So this is the way a bigger war can, how should I put it? A bigger war can, what's the word, Emil? Start? Kind of. All right, thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, money, look for the truth, and be just. See you later, guys.